we've all been in bands before, but none of us have ever felt anything like this. So I think we know it's unique. I don't know how it is in your country, but in Canada, they play and they lift up Canadian artists a lot more than they would if they weren't Canadian. So
Bom, pessoal, prazer, sou o Felipe do Tenho, Mais, Amigos, e nós estamos aqui agora com a Courtney LaPlante, vocalista do Spiritbox, que é o nosso artista do mês em setembro. Hi, Courtney, how are you? Where are you right now?
I am in Los Angeles, California right now.
Oh, that's fancy. I saw you guys in a limo yesterday.
We got our friend Jose. He's a DJ on Sirius XM and on the State Liquid Metal and Octane. And we did interviews with him yesterday. And then as a surprise, he brought, he has restored Vinnie Paul and Dimebag Darrell from Pantera. He has restored their limo. Like he took it over and has spent a couple of years restoring it. And so he surprised us by picking us up in that limo.
Awesome. I saw you guys having a lot
crazy.
of fun. Yeah.
I've never been in a limo like that before. I got to be in one when Michael and I got married. My dad surprised me and he rented me a limo for like a half hour. So that was my first time ever being in one of those. It was cool.
Awesome. Well, so again, congratulations on the record. I mean, it's absolutely amazing. I just listened to Eternal Blue. I obviously can tell a lot of people about it, but I'm so excited. And honestly, you guys are one of my favorite bands right now. So I was super hyped to do this interview. And I was wondering, how are you guys feeling right now? Because the release date is approaching and the reception for the single so far has been amazing. So are you kind of scared that maybe things will go a little bit differently? How are you feeling with the new songs coming out?
Well, thank you. That means a lot. Thank you. That's really cool that you dig the new album. And yeah, I'm scared because I'm excited. I guess I'm more anxious. Like I'm anxious for it to I'm not anxious for people to hear it and I'm worried about what they'll think, but I'm just anxious to put out the album because it's just been I'd never intended for it to take this long. Mm-hmm. And since it's taken so long, the hype machine has built up beyond what I ever could imagine. And so it just like puts more pressure on you. But I love this album. I'm so excited for people to hear it. So I think once it comes out, I won't feel that pressure anymore because it's out. There's nothing I can do. Yeah. It's your songs, not my songs now. And so I am really nervous though, just because it's so much attention that I didn't think that I'd be getting right now.
And I think there's some nice surprises in there. I think Yellow Jacket was such an amazing surprise. I mean, Sam is amazing, and you guys together it just worked so well together. So I think people are going to love it.
Thank you. I hope so, man. I hope so.
So it's really cool to me how Spiritbox story is really cool to me because you guys took such a beautiful turn. I mean, you were sort of a niche band a few years ago, and now you're kind of like popping the bubble, sort of. So I was wondering, like, for me, that was Holy Roller. I got to know you guys with Holy Roller, but I think maybe that started happening a little bit before with Blessed Be and Rule of Nines, maybe even Constance. Where did you feel that the bubble popped for you guys? Where did you feel like, oh, okay, what's happening?
Definitely Holy Roller, but I guess the reason that I've been that Michael and I have been compelled to just keep doing this music, even though we didn't have any money and we just were spending all our spare time and money on this when we should have been probably like figuring out some other way to make money. It's been this obsession. Like, so I think the thing that kept us going was that there was always this very, very small group of people that showed us so much, like that understood us. Like we kept, I guess because of the internet, we kept finding people that we would never meet in real life because they live in different cities and different countries than us, that found us and came to us and supported us online. So little things just kept hinting to me to keep going, that we've all been in bands before, but none of us have ever felt anything like this. So I think we know it's unique. like the way that we have connected to people through our music is really unique. So especially anytime like I feel, you know, like I'm defeated or something, I just keep thinking of that because it isn't normal. So it's like, it's special. So that's the thing the whole time since the first song we put out. But anyway, that's a long way of saying, yeah, Holy Roller is the one where all of a sudden it's like the people who kind of ignored us and didn't really care to look at us kind of all of a sudden started going, well, who the hell, you know, who are these people?
Yeah, and it was really funny to me because it wasn't my situation specifically, but I saw a lot of people getting to know you guys through React videos, and I always see your comments there. So how fun is it to watch people reacting to you, especially when you sing? Because people are somewhat surprised when you sing and you scream. How much fun do you have doing that?
I try not to let them be too powerful to me because mostly reaction videos are really positive, so I like them. So I try not to give them too much power over me because then I think when they don't like my music, I'm gonna be really sad. So I'm trying to like keep my guard up. But I think the reason that we're so fascinated by it and we love it so much is because we haven't really been able to play our live for people very much. So we haven't been able to have that like person to person reaction in real life. So I think getting to see it online is really special to us because it almost makes us feel like we're performing for them. You know, it's like a stand-in for not being able to do shows. So it kind of, I don't know, it just makes us feel like we're like having that reaction in real life. So I think that's why we're the band. We love watching them so much, and all of our family and everyone just is always sending us new ones and saying how much they love it too.
Yeah, but you guys just recently got back on stage and you're playing a few festivals here and there, and you're going on tour soon. So how has it been for you, and how's the expectations for the tour upcoming?
Well, there's a lot we got to work on, and we haven't really been able to, you know, we haven't been able to get together to practice or anything. So I just want to like next week we're gonna do like a couple of days of practicing as a band, and that's something that we haven't gotten to do since before we started the Limp Bizkit tour in the summer that unfortunately had to get canceled. And it's just, you know, it's just something that I was worried that because I just have hyped it up so much, finally getting to go back to do shows, I was worried that I overhyped it and I wouldn't like it as much. But it's the opposite. Like every show, I find myself sometimes not even really being able to look at the crowd, because when I look at them, like when I really look at them, they're so happy to be there. Even if not even for me, like not even for Spiritbox, just in general, they're so happy to be at a show. It just is very moving to me. And it makes me get really emotional. I have to kind of like stop looking at people sometimes because I can just see it in their, you know, I feel like we just all miss that so much. And I hope I know it's awful. Like I hope that we all can get back to whatever normal is soon, because I think all of us, the artists and the people at the shows, like we all just, it's such a big part of our lives. So we're so happy, like just doing those shows, even though, you know, the whole time I'm going, I did this wrong and I did this wrong and I did this wrong. At the end of the day, I have to be like, man, I need to just not think about that. Just focus on practicing and like just being so thankful that we can play some shows for people, because it's just like, there's nothing like it.
Yeah. Awesome. I'm super excited to see you guys live. Maybe I'll find a way to get to you guys before you even get to here.
Well, we want to come to you. Let us come to you.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So I want to talk a little bit about Constance, because I think that's such a special song, and I know it's so special for you too. So first thing I want to ask about that is how cool was it to get the orchestral version, sort of like acoustic version, I think you guys called it. But how emotional was it to do that? And would you say that's my opinion, but I think that's the best song to recommend to someone when they're supposed to?
Oh, cool, yeah.
Would you say that it is that one, or would you choose another one?
Oh, I don't know. It's so hard to say right now because I don't know. Like I don't know what people are going to respond to when they hear the full album more than other songs. But that song's so special to me, and what you're hearing in that acoustic version with the violins and the cellos too is my first time and Michael's first time ever performing that song. That's the first time we ever actually performed it. So I I was like, I've never performed this song before, because we did it live, and it was a live recording, and I was worried that I was going to get emotional singing it. And I haven't yet. I've been able to sing it, and I feel like each time I sing it, I feel the song is making me less sad and making me more really happy. You know, it's like giving me closure. And I got to perform it in front of on the Limp Bizkit tour. I got to perform it in front of my grandpa and my uncles. And my grandpa had never heard the song before. He hasn't been able to listen to it because he just wanted to wait because it made him too sad. And he got to watch me sing it, and it was so cool. It was the last show before everything got canceled. So like, I'm so grateful for that. And so I think now when I sing it, it makes me really happy. Like it gives me comfort.
Awesome. Well, so that song is a good example, but I think there's some other ones talking about the full record. I mean, I think The Summit is a great example of this. I think there's a lot of pop elements in your songs. And I see your stories sometimes, and you're like sharing Ariana Grande stuff and all that. So I wanted to ask you, like, how has pop music influenced you in metal music? And how do you guys manage to make those things coexist when you're writing songs?
I think it is all keeps coming together because of songwriting. You know, it's like, it's so much, it's so hard to fit stuff in that influences you when your music is just riff, 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 and you're not thinking about it like it's a full picture. And so I don't know, I feel like if the foundation is good songwriting, and if Michael is bringing me a good, you know, a song to the table that has like meat on its bones, then you can really go anywhere with it because you're just building off of a strong foundation. And I think that's why a lot of pop music resonates with us, because they have such strong, the foundation of the song is so strong, and there's so much intention to it. So you can really, it just allows for so much to build off of it. And that's why I think, you know, we're drawn to it. And I think that's why some of the best musicians in the world are drawn to it, because it's, you know, there's meat on the bones of what you're playing. It's not just all about how fast can you shred on the guitar and how fast can you do blast beats, which is great. And I love that too. And there's always, sometimes you just gotta, you know, you gotta noodle around the guitar and just go crazy on the snare drum. But I think that, I don't know, just right now in our lives, we just we're really hyper focused on songwriting. And I think, I don't know, it just allows for me to get to just do whatever I want, really. Yeah. It's very exciting.
Yeah, that's really something that you notice that when you're listening to the record. I love the core bands or so that sort of genre, but you know, sometimes it gets a little bit too formulaic. And with you guys, it's completely different. Like every song is its own universe, so that's so cool. And I think that's what you were saying, like the songwriting being the focus of everything. So that's nice. It's really something that you notice when you're listening to it. Thank
you. I think some bands find more purpose and comfort being very locked into a genre. And then some of us, I think, we find more comfort just kind of leaving things open-ended and being fluid. And then I think the opposite of those things might really, if the roles were reversed, like that band would be scared of how we do it and we would be scared of how they do it. So I think we all just have, you know, I think every band is just like so compelled to write their weird music, and like you just basically hope people like it, but you don't take for granted that they will, you know, because you're gonna do it anyway regardless. You're just gonna make what you want. Yeah. Well, since we're talking about this metal thing and all that, I always like to ask a little bit of like an origin question, sort of. So what is your relationship with metal? How did you get introduced to it, and how did you fall in love with it? And I know you've had a history of bands in the past, and I want to talk about that in a little while, but how did you start with metal, and what does it mean to you personally? You know, I think that getting from like the most famous, you know, heavier bands like System of a Down and Linkin Park and like Limp Bizkit and stuff, when I was growing up, those bands that had heavy elements and had metallic, heavy down-tuned guitars and even like really aggressive screaming vocals, I had heard that stuff, but I think I slowly got immersed into the, you know, the subgenres as a older teenager. You know, I was 18, and it was kind of like the frogs boiling in the water, you know, like that I didn't just get thrown into it. The temperature just like slowly got turned up. And so I went from songs and bands that I discovered through commercial ways like MTV to, mainly my little brother kind of discovering his love of metal music. And I was in a band with him. And so I went from hearing about bands like Rage Against the Machine to death metal bands like Despised Icon. So it was like a really slow transition. And I think one of the reasons that it was so effective to me is because I moved from America to Canada when I was a teenager. And when I moved there, I don't know how it is in your country, but in Canada, they play and they lift up Canadian artists a lot more than they would if they weren't Canadian. So like you have to play a certain amount of Canadian content. So there's all these bands that would never get radio play and video play in the States that were on like our equivalent of MTV in Canada, like bands like Alexis on Fire and Protest the Hero. They had their music videos playing on like the equivalent of the TRL countdown. And I was exposed to really unique music, I think specifically because of moving. And I just it blew my mind that I didn't even know what screaming was really. And I was just like, what is this? So it kind of like led me down the rabbit hole as a late bloomer teenager.
Awesome. Would you say that metal changed your life?
Yes, because it's just like it's the first time that I started to go from just being like a kid who would learn guitar chords and just play for myself to like collaborating with other musicians and creating actual music that I actually made myself. And just like the collaborative part, like starting to learn about how my bandmates write their parts. And so I think that, I'm so happy that my brother and I just made weird ass music, and it then attracted us to other people that made weird ass music. And one of those people was Michael. I met him when he was 16 and I was 18 back in 2008. So, it's like metal music like brought me my husband and my bandmate, so it's like I'm so happy that there's like music scenes, especially back when we were kids, that all like-minded people could find each other.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we all would have never found each other and like figured out that we all like the same stuff.
Yeah. Also, as I said, I want to talk a little bit about your past in music. And I remember you from I Wrestled a Bear once. And it was really curious to me because in that band, if I'm not mistaken, and I think I'm not, you joined the band when it was already a thing. So yeah. So with Spiritbox now, that's your thing. So how does it feel like? How did these experiences compare to each other? And how did the I Wrestled a Bear once time with the Vans Warped Tour thing and all that influence you now that you're doing Spiritbox?
Well, I was just thrown into the fire. Like I went from just working at my job. I worked at a Lululemon, like the yoga clothing store, and then that band just called me that night and was like, "Hey, can you come join our band tomorrow on Warped Tour and finish Warped Tour when their singer quit?" And I was just like, "Okay." So I did, and it was just I can't believe I did that. Like I can't believe that I had the audacity to do that because it was really scary. But I learned so much from being in a band that was already established, both good and bad, of like not to be set in your ways and not to, go through the motions on stuff, but also just to see people that like were doing what they loved doing. Everyone I knew that was in a band, they weren't fully getting to do what they loved. They were working full time and then did their band on the side. So that was my first time experiencing being around people that were doing what they wanted to do for a living. So I learned so much from them because they already trudged in the trenches for 5 years before I joined the band. So I learned good and bad, like what to do and what not to do. But it was insane. It's definitely, I prefer writing and being in a band that there's no one in it but me, because I felt like the stepmother in that band, and I want to be the mom, because there's no one to compare me to but myself.
Yeah. Awesome.
There's no competition other than myself.
Yeah. And finally, the hardest question for last. Do you have a favorite track in this record or one or two or a top three or something like that?
I do, like, they change a lot, but right now I just love the title track, Eternal Blue.
It's one of my favorites too.
I love that song. I've never heard it. Even when Michael, that's one of the first ones he made. And I was back in the summer of 2019 is when he started, like, we actually officially were like, let's put the song together. But I don't remember when he wrote it. I guess he probably wrote it in like the spring of that year, like the main parts of it. And like, I just never heard anything like that song. And I want to like explore it more and go down that route more, because I don't know, it just like really calls to me. And also just, I love Yellow Jacket. I think that song is so cool. It's one of my favorites because it has Sam Carter on it. Like, come on, Sam Carter. He killed it. He did so good. So those are my two favorite children right now, but I think that it will change. Like, I think as the months go on, other ones will become my favorites.
Yeah. And as you said, like, to be fair, every song that Spiritbox has ever made to me sounds like something I've never heard before. So that's what makes this band so interesting to me. So yeah.
Well, yeah, we're trying to figure, you're like watching us figure it out, you know? and I don't know if I want to figure it out. Like, I think I just want to keep not being able to figure out.
Just keep
and I like this. Yeah, I like it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Courtney. It was such a huge pleasure talking to you. And again, so excited for the record to be out and maybe to see you guys here in Brazil, or maybe go see you guys. I didn't tell you that before, but Vancouver is my favorite city in the world. So I'm trying to work out a way to see you guys with Under Oath and Every Time I Die there. So
well, you let us know, man. If you make it all the way up there for that, you let me know, because that would be so cool. But no pressure. We want to tour in South America so bad.
It's gonna happen.
Like, every band loves it. There's nothing like it. The fans are just so there. I don't know what it is. Maybe people, everyone just feels so happy. It's kind of like how now when we do music, like, everyone's so excited to have music again. That's how I feel every band feels about when they go down to South America.
You're gonna love it.
You know?
Hopefully that.
Yeah, so I hope so. We'll be trying really hard. We'll be there as soon as we can.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Courtney. It was such a huge pleasure.
Thank you. You have an awesome night. It's awesome to meet you.
Bye-bye.
All right, maybe we'll see you in Vancouver.
Yeah, hopefully. Or in Brazil.
Okay. Yeah, see you there.
Waiting, and what's left of me.